Now, once you've created a pivot table, there is a little bit of belief that the pivot table is doing what you're asking it to do. For example, here in our employees multiple pivot, in this particular pivot table, we are being told that the total salary for personnel employees that are married is $120,750. Now, the only way to really double check that is to go into the employees and set a filter by the department for personnel. Let's remove all of those and just have the personnel. Having filtered by the personnel, we then need to filter by the marital status of just married. And then let's add up the salary. 120,750. Back in my pivot table, I see 120,750. So by going back to the source data and applying filters, let's just remove those, I can see that I can trust the data. Now, there is a slightly quicker way of not necessarily trusting the data, but checking where the data has been extracted from, and that is simply by double-clicking the value. So if I'm not sure where 120,750 has been generated, I can just double-click that value, and what will happen is Excel will go and effectively extract the data from TBL employees, which is here, which is where my data source is, and copy and paste those rows that is using to make this calculation. And you can see it pulls through the same 4 people that I found when I did my own filter. And if I highlight the salary, it adds up again to 120,750. So all that Excel has done is extracted the data that it's used as backup to its claim effectively and placed that in a new sheet. And I can do that with any of the numbers in our pivot tables. 122,375, not quite sure that that's right. Double click. And we then get another sheet, so it's now sheet 2, with the extracted data. So I get to see every column and every row of the data that's being used, even though effectively the pivot tables, only in this case using the marital status, the department and the salary field, it still pulls everything through. So I can double check that what I've asked for is actually working. And that's true for any of the pivot tables. So over here where we have 24 people in operations, is that the case? Double click. And it pulls through the people that it's found, and we see that there are in fact 24 rows, and I can see who the 24 people are. So that's a drill down option to your data in your pivot table. And by drilling down, so by double clicking on any of the values, Excel will then copy and paste the rows that it's using into a new sheet for you to then interrogate as you see fit.